Hey guys, Vince here with the Rig Doctor, and in today's video, I want to cover MIDI. I want to cover MIDI in its basic form, what it is and how it can actually help you. Because when I'm in consultations with guitarists, this seems to be the biggest struggle point. A lot of people don't understand what MIDI actually is, how to implement it, and how it can actually help to streamline your rig. So in today's video, we're going to cover what MIDI is, what it does, how it can actually make things faster and more efficient for you, how to implement it into your rig, and everything in between. So before we go any further, it's really important to note here that MIDI and audio have nothing to do with each other. They are completely separate and have no effect on each other whatsoever. So MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. And what that means is it's a digital language, digital commands that allow you to use a MIDI controller, in this case the Mastermind LT from RJM, and you can use this to control every aspect of a MIDI pedal. So pedals like the Strymon Volante or the Jackson Audio Optimus or the Meris Mercury 7, they're all digitally controllable. And you might notice on the back of them, they have MIDI in and or MIDI out ports. And what this means is you can connect your MIDI controller to these pedals and control every aspect of them with that controller. Now, why MIDI can be useful to you is with the press of one button, you can control several pedals on your pedal board. So with button number 1 here on the RJM, I can turn the Volante on and I can set the tempo of that delay. I can turn the OD2 part of the Optimist on, and then I can set the decay of the Mercury 7 reverb. So you have so much more control here, and it's all with the press of one button. This virtually eliminates all tap dancing on your board if you implement this properly. Now, when it comes to MIDI, there are 3 main types of commands that you need to know. There's PC messages or program changes, and this is for recalling presets. So if I send a PC message to any one of these pedals, it'll pull up a stored preset that I have saved in that pedal. There are CC messages, which are control changes, which allow you to toggle a pedal on and off or change a specific parameter, like the delay time or the feedback of a delay. And lastly, there's clocking. So you can send tempo information to reverb, modulation, delay pedals, so all of those effects will be locked into a specific tempo and be in sync with each other. Now, when it comes to MIDI on pedal boards, there's 3 types of connections that you'll see. The most common is 5-pin DIN, which is a bit more of a bulky connector, but this is the most common one you'll see with MIDI pedals. There's 1/4-inch TRS with the tip ring and sleeve, and in this case, you might often see that the pedal that takes MIDI over 1/4-inch TRS only has a MIDI input. And then there's 1/8-inch TRS with the tip ring and sleeve, which you'll see on the newer Walrus audio pedals and most Boss pedals. Now, regardless of what MIDI connections you need to make, you still need a MIDI controller. Now, most commonly, you're going to see that a lot of effect switchers have MIDI capabilities in them, so it's an effect switcher and a MIDI controller in one, much like the Mastermind PBC-10 or the PBC-6X. Now, if you don't need the functionality of a loop switcher, you can use something like the Mastermind LT, which only controls MIDI. Now, let's talk about how to actually connect MIDI. You're going to start with your MIDI controller. Every MIDI controller has a MIDI out port, and that may look different based on the MIDI controller that you have, but today we're going to use the Mastermind LT, and we're going to use the 5-pin DIN MIDI out port. So when you're connecting your MIDI pedals, all you're going to do is daisy chain them. So MIDI controller will go to the MIDI in of your first pedal, and then the MIDI out of that first pedal will connect to the MIDI in of the second pedal, and the MIDI out of that second pedal will connect to the MIDI in of that third pedal, and so on and so forth. The order here, again, does not matter unless your pedal does not have a MIDI out port. Now, for me personally, when I'm connecting MIDI pedals, I try to follow the signal chain as much as possible, just so it makes more sense and it's easy to follow. So for instance, if I'm controlling a Strymon Mobius, Timeline, and a Big Sky, and those pedals are connected to each other audio-wise in that same order, I'm going to follow that same order when I'm connecting MIDI, just so it makes the most sense and I can follow it a lot easier. Now, in the case of the pedals that we have here, we have the Strymon Volante and the Jackson Audio Optimist. The Optimist does not have a MIDI out port, so I'm going to connect the MIDI controller directly to the Volante and then connect the Volante into the Optimist. Now, the signal chain order does not follow that, but because the Optimist doesn't have a MIDI out port, we want to put that last in the chain. So what do you do if you have multiple pedals that do not have a MIDI out port? In this case, you're going to need some sort of MIDI splitter. My personal favorites are the Disaster Area MIDI Box 4, the MIDI Solutions Quadra Through, or the Morningstar MIDI Box. All of these have the functionality to plug one MIDI cable into them, and it diverts all of that MIDI to several jacks so you can send that signal to multiple pedals at once. Now the next logical question would be, how does the MIDI controller know what pedal is controlling at any given time? So each MIDI pedal gets its own MIDI channel, and typically it can go from channel 1 to channel 16. So each pedal gets its own channel. So in this case, the Strymon Volante is on channel 1, the Jackson Audio Optimus is on channel 2. Now when I'm programming the MIDI controller, I'm setting it so channel 1, which is the Volante, is being sent whatever MIDI messages I want going to the Volante. And the same thing for the Optimus on channel 2. So what do you do if you have pedals that you want to control that don't have MIDI? For this, you need some sort of MIDI controllable loop switcher, something like the RJM Mini Effect Gizmo X, which is my personal favorite. This one has 6 stereo loops or 12 mono loops, built-in buffers, amp function control. It has everything you could possibly need for a MIDI controllable loop switcher. Now, if you need something a little bit more compact, you can go with something like the Morningstar ML5, which has 5 mono loops that can all be controlled over MIDI. So one thing you really need to pay attention to here is the type of MIDI connection that needs to be made, because not all MIDI is created equal. So companies like Meris or Chase Bliss use a different type of MIDI connection. So for instance, Chase Bliss uses what's called a ring active MIDI connection. So for this, you need to make sure you're buying the right MIDI cable, or you can use something like the Disaster Area MIDI Box 4 that has dip switches on it that will allow you to change the MIDI connection based on the manufacturer and the pedal that you're using. So this will allow you to change the connection, whether you're using an Empress pedal, Chase Bliss, Boss, Meris, whatever it may be. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I know MIDI can be terrifying at first if you're brand new to it, but it's really not as hard as it seems. I know for me personally, it took me months to understand MIDI when I was first getting started, but now that I know it, I absolutely love it. I will never not have a pedal board that doesn't incorporate MIDI. For me personally, I use an RJM Mastermind PBC10, and that serves as the brain on my pedal board, and it controls every pedal that I've got. And I play a set list of songs, so each song has its own presets for verse, chorus, solo, and bridge, and with the press of one button, it recalls every sound that I need it to. And I want to give a huge shout out to Ron and Sherry at RJM for graciously providing this Mastermind LT for today's video. Personally, I use their products here in my home studio and on my personal pedal board, and I absolutely love them. I will never not have a pedal board that doesn't have an RJM product on it because they are so good. I highly recommend you all go to rjmmusic.com and check out their products. If you need a MIDI controller or a loop switcher, they're incredibly high-end. They do everything that you could possibly need them to do. So please go check out their products. And Ron and Sherry are awesome people anyway, so please go support them any way that you can. So if you guys have any questions about MIDI, please throw them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. And if you need help with MIDI for your personal pedal board, you can go to therigdr.com and book a private tone consultation with me, and I will help you program whatever MIDI controller you have, any MIDI pedals, and we can make sure everything's up and running for you. And as always, thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of any future videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.